Good evening. My name is Ashley Nance, and for my discussion board topic this week, I will be looking at the history of the Mormon Church. Many people focus on the unifying spirit of revival that was prominent in America during the Second Great Awakening. However, as Christian historians committed to objectivity and honesty, we must investigate all aspects of this event, including the divisions it created, particularly within existing denominations. Out of these divisions arose individuals who were so frustrated by a lack of unity among the various churches and who were so driven by a desire for truth that they ultimately established their own denominations. In our textbook, Mark Knoll writes that such men exemplified extraordinary religious creativity in the boisterous climate of the early United States. One such individual was Joseph Smith, the founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, otherwise known as the Mormon Church. Joseph Smith was born to a very religious family in 1805, when the Second Great Awakening was beginning to spread throughout the United States. All of New England was caught up into what Smith later described as an unusual excitement on the subject of religion. In The Pearl of Great Price, one of the Mormon scriptures, he goes on to say that he observed, quote, "Great multitudes unite themselves to different religious parties." The religious parties Smith references here are the Methodists, the Presbyterians, and the Baptists. Although his family chose to associate themselves with the Presbyterians, Joseph Smith explains that he initially found himself partial to the Methodists, but the seeming hypocrisy of all the churches troubled him greatly and only added to his difficulty in choosing which one to join. He did not know which group, if any, was founded on truth, so he began to pray and ask the Lord to make it plain to him what he should do. Shortly thereafter, Smith claimed that he had a vision in which the Lord forbade him to join any existing denomination because they were all wrong. He continued to report having visions in which he was instructed on the foundations of what would ultimately become the Mormon religion. Perhaps the most important vision is the one in which Smith stated that the angel Moroni showed him the Book of Mormon, which was a record of God's dealings with the prehistoric settlers in North America and with long-lost tribes of Israel. According to Smith, the Book of Mormon was on equal footing with the Bible and was simply another testament of Jesus Christ. It became the primary foundation upon which he built the Latter-day Saints' faith. Robert Gunderson, the artifacts manager for the Community of Christ in Independence, Missouri, wrote an article entitled "From Dust to Dusty: The Rise and Fall of the Book of Mormon in the Life and Ministry of Joseph Smith, Jr." In this article, Gunderson points out that the Book of Mormon, more than any other factor, was the defining element in the establishment of the religious movement commonly known as Mormonism. Although it served as the cornerstone of the Mormon faith, the publication of the Book of Mormon created a great deal of controversy in the United States, so much so that Joseph Smith was imprisoned and killed at the age of 38 by a mob of his opponents. In his article, "The Coming Forth of the Book of Mormon in the 20th Century," Noel B. Reynolds of Brigham Young University emphasizes that Smith's death confirmed the reality of the conflict that the Book of Mormon was creating in mainstream American culture. Interestingly enough, Reynolds continues, early converts to the Mormon faith relied more heavily on the Bible than they did on the Book of Mormon in the public and in the private practice of their faith for fear of creating further conflict. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that the Book of Mormon became a central component of the Mormon way of life, because by this point in time, the Latter-day Saints were more accepted in American society. The Mormon Church undoubtedly grew out of Joseph Smith's search for truth during the Second Great Awakening. Although his life was cut short as a result of the controversy that surrounded him, Joseph Smith's legacy has been carried on by his faithful followers all over the world and endures to this day.